Here I am, Leon C., aka Morpheus. You are now listening to the Academy of Wow, Man. While you are here today, we're going to discuss some very important matters. And this is going to be part 2 of As a Matter of Fact. These are going to be some very straightforward, hard facts that a lot of people cannot handle. And you're really not allowed to say. But I'm going to say it because it needs to be said. And it's very important for us to have these conversations, because if we don't, no one would talk about it, and the whole society would just continue to go downhill, because that's where we headed. So before we even begin, I'm going to go ahead and answer again some questions here. And I'm going to go from the last conversation we had, ladies and gentlemen, was, as a matter of fact, part 1. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4 answers. So now we're going to go to 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right. So we're going to first answer a person here who chimed in. They wanted to ask me, how come if I am red pilled and definitely in the manosphere, why am I still in a relationship, and even more so with 3 women? Well, that's all right, because sometimes people don't listen, and that happens. Sometimes we don't listen. We listen to what we want to hear. Because you don't listen to me, you just hear me. You hear my voice, but you don't listen. And that's becoming common in the world today. People hear what they want to hear, but they don't really listen to you. Okay? Or you could say they only hear you to listen to what they want to listen to, if you really want to correct it the right way. But oftentimes they really don't listen. They just hear. You can hear noises. You can hear anything, but you don't listen. My companions, they are not Americans. They're not from here. Okay? Nor are they starving or was starving for money, if you have that type of idea or image in your mind. They're not scruffy, dirty girls either that was looking for a man to take care of them. As a matter of fact, if you were to see them, they are well taken care of, nor are they fat. Okay? All 3 of them have long, beautiful, voluptuous hair. Okay? Wonderful, soft skin, and they are well taken care of. This was a choice that we have decided to make, and me, being their leader, being the man in the middle, okay, have orchestrated this for my safety, for the future, and it's the best thing to do right now and for the coming future, because I see things that you dummies don't see. So therefore, I have prepared myself ahead of time. And to describe even further, there is a scarcity, did I say? My word, scarcity, if it's a such word, but I made it now. It's a scarcity in America, okay, in the Western world, that there are plenty, if not too many, promiscuous women who are having relationships, or you could say donkey dump sections with men, and catching STDs and getting pregnant and not knowing who the father is. Okay? A lot of these men now, and here's the fact. Let me go ahead and give you something here. Get something together. Gotta get my notes together. Let me go ahead and give you something. Really, I see something that you don't see, and the color is stupid. See, men are responding to women's bad behavior in this current generation. Men have been responding to them since the beginning of the feminist movement, meaning, here it is, women who wanted to shed their traditional skin, meaning they did not want to and have no interest of being a housewife or being a dutiful wife, because most women, they want the marriage, they just don't want the responsibility of the wife. Let me say it again. They want a marriage, but they don't want the responsibility of being a wife. So what they will do is typically go and have their fun, have their hot girl summer. They'll go chase their careers, their PhDs, their business, and everything else that they're doing. But the consequences of it is they have to put dating on the shelf. But they're not going to put the sausage on the shelf. They're going to put dating on the shelf. They're going to put marriage on the shelf. But they're still going to heat up the bed sheets. They're still going to have their one-night stands. They're still going to get DMs. They're still going to get their back blown out, bent over, pushed in, twisted up in a pretzel, and backslidden from any type of guy that she thinks, or in this case, feels to be worthy enough, which is typically usually going to be the top 10 or 20% of high earning or high running men in the westernized world. So therefore, this one or two men circle is pretty much donkey dunking with a handful of women on a constant basis, who are like a recycling door, or whatever you call those doors, right? Going and it just keeps spinning. So therefore, the chances of me or another alpha or another man or whoever, average dude, or any blue collar man, having the ability to get with a virtuous, clean, or decent enough woman who, for one, haven't been traded, sold, used, traded, sold over and over again because of her lifestyle, Instagram, Facebook, DM, sugar baby, and OnlyFans, fun, that sort of catastrophe. But also have this ability to use her options because how negative social media is versus the average male. So therefore, the chances of him or myself getting quality is narrow and slim have passed away back in 1990, or you could say the 90s. Therefore, since so many men are just accepting women in their choices, because remember, it's her body, her choice. Her body, her choice. So she wants to have all her, some people say 304 phase in the ages of her early 20s and pushing late 20s. Then all of a sudden she wants to marry or find a committed man. Okay, men are responding. Men are going to say, okay, do what you do. We're going to allow you to do what you want to do. But in the process, I'm going to give you exactly what you want. Meaning, these girls do not want a relationship. They just want to have fun. So these men on a typical basis are saying, okay, fine, I'll have fun with you. We can donkey dunk, and I'm not going to take you serious. I'm just going to move on to the next, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. So therefore, there's no committed value. There's no trustworthiness. There is no substantial, essential value nor quality to either get in a relationship and or to get married to any woman in the West. What I mean by any, I'm not saying all. What I'm saying is the majority, but because it is such a high percentage, I consider it to be all. Have you ever heard of this mathematical terms that you rounded to the nearest 10? Like, let's say out of 10, there is 7 out of 10, which is negative. So you round it to the nearest 10. The nearest 10 will be 10. Or you can say, what will 4 be the closest to? 4 will be the closest to 5th. So the answer will be 5. Okay? So if you say 2 out of 10, so the answer is closer to 1. So it's more positive than negative. So you round it to the nearest 10. So that will be a 1. Or some people say a negative 1. because it's no longer in the middle. So if the probability of success in a relationship with a woman who, let's just say this, the negative probability of a woman who's on Instagram, she's doing Facebook, she's POFing, she got Facebook, she's doing DM, she's Instagram, they call themselves models, but I got another word for that. She's Instagram trapping and OnlyFans, and she got 3 or 4 different guys in her special locked up phone, in locked up photos, and in locked up conversations where her boyfriend can't get to. The chances are at least 7 to 8 out of 10. So therefore, you're dealing with a high probability that you're going to get with someone who's going to destroy your world and or accidentally, pause, give you some sort of STD, that is sexually transmitted disease. So I am RPO and definitely very understanding of MGTOW. And I'm still providing a means for a manosphere should you decide to open up your ears and listen to what I'm saying. I've learned how to protect myself, and these women have been, my girls, companions, have been picked from the litter. They have been vetted, and they understand what I do. And they also understand that should they begin to trip and act like they are new, there is always the door and it's always unlocked. She can leave. Because just like her, she may not be from here, but it's her body, it's her choice. She's not here because I'm forcing her to do that. And she's not here because I'm putting a roof over her head and feeding them. So they're not sitting here with a bowl and a cup saying, we need you to take care of us because we're homeless females. Absolutely not. They're just as classy as any modern American woman. They just have a sense of self and they're more aware because they was raised up with value. They were raised up with understanding their men. Their mothers and their fathers prepared these girls for a good man, for a good, proper protector, a lover, a provider, and a man that they can respect. They understand and they understand what a beta is. I've explained it to them. They know what a beta is. They know what an alpha is, and they know what all the other terms and jargon is as well. And a lot of the things they understood it before they even came over here to the West because they've watched a lot of our nonsense on television and on social media, and they had questions. So when I met them, it was at the right time and the right place. And I was and am the perfect man because I'm an alpha. What better position to be in than to be protected and loved by a man who knows what he is doing? So it have nothing to do with neglecting the RP. I'm still aware. My eyes are always open when I am sleeping. They know my standards, they know my principles, and they know what I stand for. And the moment they start acting like these modern American women, they know it is curtains, game over, get out. We're not married and we're not going to be, but in our own way, we are doing what we want to do because we are adults. We chose to be this way. We are responsible. Well, I'll put it like this. I am responsible for them, but they are also responsible in the choices that they make, and I hold them accountable for whatever that they do, period. Just because any man gets some sort of a girlfriend, that doesn't make him neglectful of the RP, the red pill, or humans, I mean, not humans, but women nature, the modern woman's nature. If anything, those are tools that he can use to prevent himself from possible catastrophes. But he needs to be able to understand where this woman come from and what type of issues that can arise when dealing with her. Therefore, he's not going to get fleeced or be in a terrible situation. And understand how it all began. And I've described this before, and I'm going to describe it again. My women, my companions, were already analyzed and vetted before we even got to the point where we are today. How was this? I didn't showboat anything. They didn't meet me on a yacht. They didn't see me standing in front of a Lamborghini. I didn't take them on a tour through a mansion that I do not have. I didn't walk around with Rolexes on and a gold chain. I didn't even wear any, designer shoes and shirts when I met them. It was a simple conversation. And in the conversation, I particularly explained to them, we're going to take this one day at a time. When it came to what I do for a living, when it came down to what I do every day, they respected that. They're not like you American. Let me stop. They're not like the strange American people that you deal with today, where we don't trust each other. They knew that tomorrow would be here. If I say we're going to meet up Saturday, they waited for Saturday to come. And slowly but surely, I began to wing them into my lifestyle, one day at a time, to the point where the girls that they were when I first met them, they're still the same way. It didn't change anything. And the beautiful part about it is, it showed me how genuine they was. Now, if I met them and I had a Lamborghini, that'd be a different story. If I borrowed my friend's Ferrari and then they want to camp around the car or try to exchange numbers and any type of contact, then yes, I'll be wearied and worried about that. But these girls met me in their eyes, not to say I didn't have anything, but just a figure of expression. They met me when I had nothing. So since that was the beginning introduction, then that determines a big pace in your relationships. This is why you hear other men tell you, don't lead with your wallet. Don't lead with what you can do for these girls. Don't give them false promises. Don't do it. You under advertise, but you over deliver. I under advertised to them, but I over delivered over time. They didn't know what I can do for them. They didn't know what type of man I was. They had no idea what type of car I'd driven. They didn't even care about my YouTube channel that you all have. They don't care about that kind of stuff. They only heard about it later on when I started letting them listen to it and coming up with suggestions and things like that, especially when it comes to talking about dating. But they didn't even look at it like that. All they were concerned about, see, let me tell you something, and I'm going to get on to the next subject. What you funny American, strange, modern, money-hungry, backwards-walking, dilapidated, sick-thinking, uncooperative, strange species from a different world over here in the westernized, uncivilized world called USA. There are some people in the world that don't give a about what you have and what you're doing. They just appreciate somebody to love them. They appreciate an individual for who they are as a man. If he's a man, he's going to be honored because he's a man. He's going to have an authority because he's a man. He's going to be looked at as a leader. And these girls, having had and do have a father in their life, they understand what a man's role is in life. So because they respect their fathers and because they had a good mother who wasn't out there being a thought or flipping on Instagram and selling herself and doing all the things that you're doing in the westernized world, they had good role models. They was raised to understand what a relationship truly meant. And they understood and they understand as well that it isn't all about finances. It's about the individual that you are with. And because of that, I was able to steal 3 angels from heaven and bring them down here to earth to do my bidding. Too bad you didn't get yours, but just because they're 3 wonderful companions of mine, that doesn't mean I'm not RPO. Absolutely not. Because as good as they may be right now, and as good as they was, okay, and as good as they can be, the door is still going to be open. And I'm never too attached, and I'm never too lopsided and sleeping with my eyes closed and my back turned, where it cannot all crumb to pieces.
Because I'm still that man, as they know I am to be. If they flip up, they're going to be flipping out. Clothes going to be in the front yard with everything else. I don't play that type of game. And everything that I paid for, give it back to me. Period. You can call it what you will. You can call it holding masculine frame or, oh, it's misogyny. It's misogyny. No, it's not. It's my house. It's my place. It's my life. It's my rule. I'm the leader in this GD relationship, not GED, goddamn relationship. That is to be understood and respected. Too many of you men are too beta. You're too soft. You let your women run. You put the cart before the horse. That's why y'all end up in a fump relationship. So to answer your question, if you really have a problem understanding this, then you're not the man you think you are. You need to go to somebody else's channel and ask that stupid question. You need to go and find your testicles, wherever they are tucked up in. You need to pull them back down and understand why you are here on human earth. If you don't understand it, get back on your space shuttle and leave, because we don't need your stupidity over here, sir. I am a man through and through, and I'm red pill and all that old great stuff. Hey, I'm Morpheus. What do you expect? But I'm not going to stop living my life and getting nor doing what needs to be done to flourish and to blossom. Now we're going to get on to the next question here. Question number 6. This is going to be something because it looked like it's going to be part 3 to this, because I'm trying to cut the time down a little bit. It's quite long. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make a part 3, and that's fine. So be looking out for, as a matter of fact, part 3. Okay. Now I had to answer that question because I really don't want to put myself in the fold, but a lot of men, they think that way, that if you are peeled, or if you MGTOW, or if you are a man who needs to get your masculinity polished, that you don't deal with women. That's stupid. Women are important. I never said to cut them out of your life, and nor would I say that. Why? They are essential, and they are an asset to just about everything that you do if you find the right one. Now, your chances are, again, because you're getting women from a swamp over there in the westernized world, so you're getting 8 out of 10. That means you're failing 8 out of 10. So that means your opportunity is 2. Dummy. 20% of a probability there. The 20% that you're dealing with is typically the 20% in reverse of the men that they are chasing at the high percentages, even though 80% of the women are available, but 80% of them are actually just the 20%, meaning they're no good for you. So therefore, you over there shopping in the store where 80% of the food is spoiled, rotten, or expired. Or used, or touched. The meat have fell on the floor and it's been repackaged. The bread is stale and hard. So of course you're going to struggle. But if you want fresh meat, if you want better products, if you want something that's going to work for you, that's not been touched, been molested, modified, mutated, twisted, and deceived, you got to go to a different store. But in this case, you got to go out of town. You got to shop outside of the Western swamp. So that's your fault. You can be red pill, but you have to find out what's best with you outside of the swamp that you were swimming in. Someone didn't get the math. Let the professor school you for a second here. Out of 100 women, if the 100, that means all women, period,
to a degree. Okay, you can still say the majority of them. According to the census, according to the dating marketplace, according to Instagram, jump on, jump off, DM, and all this old stuff that you see in the world, women usually have a certain profile that they chase. They have a certain type of guy that they're interested in. And a lot of them, they're interested in tall men, or very successful men, or men who are popular. That is also according to those who are rappers. They might be in the sports industry, and etc. Those who may have a large house on the hill somewhere that we don't know of. So what happens is, out of which they chase the top 10 or 20% of those type of men in that percentile. Do you understand? So out of the 100%, only that percentage can be dealt with at a time, meaning the 20% of men, if they are dealing with the majority of women, they can only deal with them one at a time, or during an orgy, or a menage a trois, whatever you want to go into, whatever they sharing and all that old stuff. Okay? So it becomes a cesspool. Okay? So if you flip it around on its reverse side, and say that the majority of it, which those who are busy chasing the top 10 and 20% of men, what's left is 80% of the population of women who have already had their interest, their run, or their time with those said men. Now, the women who are either rejected of the 20%, they're not fit for the 20%, they're an additional 150 pounds too heavy for the 20%. Are they living a ratchet lifestyle for the top 10 to 20% of those men? And adding the conclusion as well, or you can say in addition, those who just want to work, those who are chasing a PhD, those who have their own career in their businesses and they're going in and out of the industries and working for the corporate world. The percentages are very low. Saying 20% is very modest, because what happens is 80% of the women may be chasing the top 10 or 20% of men, or you can say types of men, or you can say designer men, or you can say men of a certain woman's taste, however you want to look at it. But the 80% of women are available. I'm going to say 20% of women are available to 80% of men, because 80% of men aren't looking at women in that type of way. Men usually just get whatever they want to get, or can get, so to speak, not want to get, but can get. So their chances and their options are very low, but they're not limiting to themselves to a certain woman in a certain class. They get whatever that they can get. So 80% of those women become available to these men. So while the 80% of the men are looking and are available to date, or even to marry, if you want to do that dumb thing, but do it anyway, he will only have 20% value. He will only have 20% of them who may be, you could say, relationship material, but on the fence when it comes to marriage. Because too many over in the Western world aren't focused on marriage. They're not focused on being a wife. But I tell you, they just want the marriage. They want the marriage experience, or a child experience for some of them, but they don't want to be a mother, and they don't want to be a wife. So if you really want to go to the basics of it, you can say 80% of men are available. They may not be in the top 10 or 20% percentile of top earning men in the world, are popular, are well-going, well-to-do, and brass, all right? But they are available, and men haven't changed the goalposts nor the game status from the beginning of time. But women have changed the game status and looked at relationship as a financial business plan, or a retirement plan, or looking at him for what he has to provide her while she's going out getting her PhD in her bags at the same time. So therefore, they have changed. Men have not. So the percentage of available males is still in the high 80%. But the percentage of women being available, they're not available until later on in life because they're too busy chasing their career and doing what they want to do. So they push themselves out of a chance to find a decent mate or man who they're going to settle up with. So therefore, those percentages is outrageous like that. It is an 80-20 rule. It is going to be 80-20 no matter how you look at it. Because if it wasn't 80-20, if it was more like 30-something, 60, you have a different outcome. Even if it was 40-30 or something, or if it was 50-50, you'd have a different type of world. But it's not like that. You have a world full of catastrophes because we are unbalanced. The dating scale is unbalanced. Women are seeking different types of validation than what they used to. Men are still seeking the same validation. Men are looking for a wife or a wife material or a wifey. What is a wifey? A wifey is a girlfriend who does the task of a wife, meaning she's as good as a wife. She's dutiful. She's diligent. She's committed. She irons his clothes. She makes sure that things are right at home. You know, she's good with her nieces and her nephews. She doesn't argue and bicker that much. She wakes up in the morning with a smile on her face, at least. She gives them peace, comfort, and quietness, at least. Right? So she becomes a wifey material. She's wife-like. And it's very rare for a man to just walk away from a wife-like woman. It's very rare for a man to just say, well, it's her fault and she was unsteadfast and she had a terrible catastrophe of a life. Not if she's a wifey material. Unfortunately, too many times what we are dealing with constantly in the westernized world is women on a particular basis that think that they're a wife material while they're out there doing everything that goes against what being a wife is. They still act like they're single, that they have no obligations at home, that they're what they say is as equal as the man, but we are two different species altogether. We're two different human races, two different Homo sapiens, two different types of ideas, different types of mentalities, two different types of worldly intake and information. So when they go out there, the women of the West, and they get their bag, they get the careers, and they don the work suit, there is usually going to be a problem at home, and eventually it will happen. And the more up the scale that she climbs, the more of a struggle it's going to be for her to find her a male or a decent man who's going to really take her seriously. But unfortunately, what's happening here with those who say there is an exception to the rule, because I can hear you now, or for those who say, well, I know a relationship that's not like that. My man's like that. He accepts me for who I am, and I'm a CEO, or I'm a boss, and I got my own business, and blah, blah. Yeah. Because here's the thing. Men aren't men like they used to be. Remember I told you about that before? See? Y'all think Morpheus is stupid. No, you're the stupid one. Now, you think Morpheus isn't no game. I told you this several audios back, that men aren't what they used to be. A lot of these modern men are soft. They are wearing the apron and they are wearing the panties today. They're not masculine like they used to be, ladies. They're not. Just because they're leveling on your level, that doesn't mean he's a great man. It just means he's soft. He's passive. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. But what I am saying is, if he was a masculine male like he's supposed to be, if he was the leader and he was a protector and if he was alpha-like, he'd have a different type of running game than what the average woman would have, because men and women are different. I've had plenty of women that try to say, well, oh, Morpheus, you're alpha, huh? Let me test you out. And they lost. 9.9.9.9.9999999 all the way across the board. in wrestling, in arm wrestling, in martial arts, in breathing, jogging, track, field, you name it. You name it. And keeping an organization going and holding the leadership role without flopping. I can keep going on with this, making powerful decisions at the last second, doing the military strategies as need to be done to be a sergeant, and straighten it out, keep things together. 10 hut, left, right sort of ordeals. Without flopping, without getting emotional about it, but not putting my feelings involved in the situation or mucking up everything because I want to gossip and be sassy around my soldiers and my comrades. No. I succeed because of my phylum. I succeed because of the man that I am. When a man is in his zone, it should be a distinguishing factor between him and every other, you can say, gender. There should be a difference. There should be a difference between him and his wife. They should know automatically who's not controlling the home, but who the head of the home is. If she talking about, oh, we're both the head. No, ma'am. See, I told my girls this once upon a time, and it was funny. They thought they were all cool and everything because we go out somewhere to this party, and they get around a bunch of these. It's a long story. They get around a bunch of people that we know of, and one of the girls tried to influence them. And she asked the question, oh, so who's running the household? I know you girls are running the household. Y'all got him wrapped around your finger. And the girls my companions start looking at each other and start laughing. It was like, what the hell are you talking about? And I stepped in there and I said, go ahead and repeat yourself to them. Repeat yourself to them. Repeat what you said so they can hear what you said. And my third girl stepped up and said, no, sweetheart, it's not like that. I don't know where you come from, but he's actually the man of the house. And he's not wrapped around our finger. We love him, and we are all about him. We don't play that type of game. You have a nice day, and I see that you ain't all about what we got going over here. She swirled her finger down in her wine that she had. You know, you got they call it, what do you call it, tumbler or something like that. But she put her finger in a wine glass and just swirled it and flopped it in the air as she walked away. Because they're not playing that type of game. Because the modern woman today, they're not looking to equalize with men. They're looking to dominate men on a usual basis. It's not about saying, oh, he's the man in the house and he's running the show and he knows what he's doing. I'm going to do what I can to take care of him. In the West, it's all about what men can do for her. So she's always trying to level up against them. If she do get one ball in, if she's able to arm wrestle and win one time, if she's able to get some type of prestige seat, if she get this type of, if she wins by 5 points, she's going to think she owned the world. She's going to think that she's automatically the best of the best and she's the alpha. It don't work like that because there's no such thing as an alpha female. And at the same time, it don't work like that because the world wasn't built on female emotions, nor was it built on women or by women. It was built by men for a reason. I never need to tell my companions, oh, if they ever try to challenge me, it's a game over. They automatically know it's going to be game over, period, because they're not going to add up to what I do. And they know their history. It's only this first world idiocy problem that you have over here in the West where you have this entitlement idea just because you got to, stop. Issue men's fault. To make it short and simple, men aren't equal to women. They're not, and they should not be. The only reason why it seems that way is because there are too many soft men today who have no standards, have no principle. And if it was another man with those women, that first of all, get it straight. First of all, they wouldn't be with him because they can smell beta all the way across the room. They can smell beta before it even comes out of his mouth, number one. That's why they're with me. It's not because I'm beta. They're not interested in a beta. They're not interested in a man who's going to worship and praise them. They're interested in men who know that they're men. They're interested in men who have their testosterone and their testicles dangling, not stuck up somewhere in his dress. That's what they're interested in. So a lot of these common everyday jokers over here in the USA, they're always going through this thing. Well, happy life, happy wife, happy wife, happy life. Oh, she's my better half. Oh, yeah, I am wrapped around their finger. God, I can't get enough of these girls. They are just too awesome. Or, sure, we can wife swap. Sure, I got 3 of them. You can take one of them for the night. Sure. Sure, we can do this. So these sick dances that we do in the bedroom, I got 3 of them. I can make money off of this. My companions would never deal with that. And I can actually say never. They're at the point where if that was an inkling of a conversation, oh, you let this guy walk up to you and ask you if he can take me for the night. She will leave you. She'll be out of there. You wouldn't even have to, as a matter of fact, she'll be packing her bags right there. Because that's the ultimate form of disrespect. And you're showing her that you are a passive, sick, non-confident, inconsistent, unsavory, unsatisfiable moron. Which is in the numbers today. There's too many of you strange men. Too many.
We got a thing we talk about, and it's called honor and loyalty. Honor and loyalty is the glue in our relationship, and it's more like the welds on our metal pieces. See, if you're not honored, or there's no loyalty between you and your companion or the person that you with, there's no point in being with them. It's pretty much over.